everybody. My name is Petra, and this is Petra's Happy Place. And this is,
I'm Deb from One More Whip.
I'm so glad to have you guys with us today. We are starting a new thing. It's a new thing. We're going to call it Grace, Gab, and Yarn, because those are the things that drew us together, isn't it, Deb?
It is.
So anyway, we like to gab, and over the last several months, Deb and I have become good friends, and I am so blessed to have you in my life. Thank you so much.
Same way.
So, anyway, this is something new for both of us. I have been watching a podcast, and they do it on a weekly basis, and I love the way that they did it, and so I thought, we got to do that too. And so I couldn't think of a better person to bring alongside, and we are actually on opposite time zones, which makes this very interesting. And we've had some technical problems, but that's not going to deter us, is it, Deb? So, anyway, so what is this Grace, Gab, and Yarn all about, you might ask? Well, during these podcasts, we're going to talk about grace and what the Lord is doing with us, and also we're going to gab a lot because we like to gab. And then we're also going to talk about yarn and any kind of other crafts or whatever that we just want to pop in. We're going to be sharing some of our personal lives with you, and hopefully you'll be able to join us in the comment section below. Let us know your questions, your comments, whatever you want. Just make sure you put them in the comment section, and we'll try to get to them next time. Okay. So, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to introduce ourselves and then give a quick recap of maybe something that's been going on in our lives. Go ahead, Deb, you start off.
So I'm Deb, like Petra said, and I have been super active on my YouTube channel in the last little bit because we are in the process of selling our house. It's a lot of work doing that. So that's my focus has been. That's eating up a lot of my time and my energy. I also homeschool my two youngest, so that eats up some life, but it's all good stuff. All of this is good stuff. It's just taking time.
It's life. It happens.
I have to do, I have to sort of pick and choose what is most important. And right now those two things are at the top. So yeah, but been still getting some crocheting done every day, not making the progress I usually do because you never know. You don't want to look at the house for one.
Yeah.
Ponies on their bedroom floor.
Oh boy, that's fun. That's fun.
That's what's going on right now with me. That's the big part of
okay. All right. Well, I have been kind of off the radar as well. It's been a hot minute since I've been on. And for most of you know that my mom passed away a couple weeks ago. And so the majority of the last 3 weeks have been dealing with the things of that nature. And but I have got to get back in the swing of things, and yarn and crochet are my two biggest loves, not top love, but pretty darn close. And so, we're going to start getting back into it and doing some more filming. But this particular podcast time is going to be set up just for girl time. Girl time. Man, gentlemen are welcome. They just might not appreciate it as much as girls. So, I've got a question for you, Deb.
Okay.
What's God been doing in your life? What's He been teaching you?
So many things. So many.
Pick one.
I think for me, this past week, I have actually spoken to 3 different people about growth, and God requires that of us, and it's uncomfortable, and a lot
Oh,
of it hurts, and we have
right.
to do things we'd rather not.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of times when that's happening, we want other people to be doing it too. We want to see that around us.
Yeah.
And when we don't see that happening,
Yeah.
it gets a,
Why me?
why is that required of me and not somebody else?
Right.
Just coming to terms with the fact that he's requiring it of me, and I get to choose whether I'm going to be obedient or not.
Uh-huh. Oh boy.
So
Why'd you have to say that O word?
it's hard.
Oh,
It's
isn't it
hard.
though?
And I feel like I'm pretty good at that, except when I'm not.
Right?
Really not good at it.
Right, right.
And so this is one of those areas where I need to be good in this area.
Do you find that there are certain times that when it's easier to
Absolutely.
accept? So what is making it so difficult right now, do you think?
I think just because so much is required of me in other areas at this time. I don't It's not like God gives you a break from all of this stuff to do this stuff.
Right.
It's required all at once.
Yeah.
And it just seems like so much. And it's like you just want a minute to breathe and not do something. But I get it. I get why he has us doing it this way. I really do.
Are you comfortable sharing just like a little bit of what growth that is required, or would you prefer not to say?
Um, I No, I can say that. Like with this whole move thing, I have struggled for a long time with this move. Um, growing
How so? How have you struggled with it?
uh, growing up, I didn't feel safe a lot of the time, just in
Mm,
circumstances I was in,
right.
um, and not everything. I feel completely blessed in the way I grew up, but there were just certain things that left me feeling a little bit unsafe.
Okay.
Right here, right now is safe.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
We get kinda comfortable with safe, don't we? Yeah,
Absolutely, it's
yeah,
comfort. And
yeah.
when we moved here, it took me a long time to make the friends and get involved. And I'm a pretty open person. I don't have a hard time socially, but I tend to withdraw when things. So that's kind of an oxymoron kind of a thing that
Yeah,
goes.
but I know what you mean. You almost need somebody to come to you
Yeah,
and initiate
yeah,
before you can be
yeah,
fully yourself. Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm 54 years old. And so the idea of starting over,
Only?
yeah,
Only?
I've
Oh my goodness.
bit of those 54 years, but the idea of starting over
Mhm. It's
is
scary.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
daunting, but I know that it'll be wonderful. I know it will be wonderful.
Yeah,
I know with all my heart it will be wonderful,
yeah.
but
It doesn't make it any more easy, does it?
it doesn't make it easy. And
Mhm.
so just coming to terms with the fact that God doesn't want us comfortable. He
Ouch.
doesn't want us to be comfortable. If we're comfortable, we're not really relying on him for a whole lot, are we?
Exactly, exactly.
So back in August, every year in our town we have our mountain festival. It's this yearly thing that's gone on for ages and ages.
Oh, let me interrupt you for just a
Okay.
second, just to let everybody know, Deb's in California.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
and we're in the mountains. Um, so I was able to meet up with the woman who moved away like 8 years ago, and she was very much a mentor to me in my spirituality. And um, I told her we were moving, and she
Mm.
looked at me and she was kind of surprised. And then she looked at me and kind of pointed at me and she said, use your gifts where you go. And I said,
Wise words.
I won't not be doing that. But she knows it takes some time
Yeah.
because you're I mean, everybody's gifted in one way or another. You know,
Right.
I mean, there are gifts, but in order for your gifts to really be, I maybe I don't know if it's accepted is a good word, but your gifts only mean a whole lot if there's actually a relationship there where people trust you.
Right, right, right.
So I felt like she was telling me make those connections quickly, so that you
Okay, gotcha.
don't don't sit on those, make those connections.
Let your light shine. Don't hide it under a bushel.
So that was good for me to hear. That was good for
Right.
me to hear, just for her to say, don't just go there and sit in the back row.
Yeah.
Get
And
yourself
that's very easy to do when you move to a new place.
right. Right.
And the thing is if you do that when you first move somewhere or just go anywhere, you do that, it becomes easier and easier to do it and more difficult to put yourself out there.
Right. Right. Can I share a quick story?
Yes.
So when we first moved to this town, it took us a while to find a church that we were comfortable in. And I started coming. My husband worked during those services because he didn't get off till later in the day. And so me and my kids were going, my kids and I, listen to my grammar, we're going. And we we had been there for a few months.
Mhm.
And then my husband and I bought some furniture. And we did not know at the time that they only delivered on Sundays.
Oh.
They messed up those deliveries 12 weeks in a row.
Holy smokes.
I missed 3 months of church. And not one person reached out to me in those months.
Oh, no.
And it hurt me. It hurt my
I
feelings a little.
bet. Yeah, I bet.
And it was a few months later, this woman who had mentored me saw me at a football game. And she went to that church and she said, don't I know you? And I said, yeah, I used to go to your church. And she scooted over and she says, do you mind if I ask why you don't go anymore? And I told her.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, so we need to be doing some things better.
Yeah.
And that week I went into the office and I asked if they had a church directory. And she gave me one.
Oh,
And
good.
I memorized every face and name in that book.
Wow.
As I decided if I want to be involved, next time it was time to shake somebody's hand, I could say, hi, Barbara, how are you today?
Yeah.
And Barbara would remember my name when I told her.
Awesome.
But
Awesome.
the only way I knew to really, okay, if I'm going to be involved, let's just go head in and do this thing.
Right.
So I know that where I go, I'm going to have to go head in first and just
Right.
get it going from the get-go.
Yeah.
But also kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
you know?
But, at the same time, we know in our head, right?
Yeah,
We know that God's not going to leave us. He's
right,
going to be right there walking beside us as we're being obedient,
right.
right?
Yes. It's
Yeah.
all, it's
It's
all,
all yeah. It's all up in there. And unfortunately, we, in our past, we've been trained to let this be our guide
right.
sometimes, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know. Oh, that's
Yeah.
you're just the whole obedience thing. How
Right.
about you? What have you learned, Petra? What's he been talking to you about?
Stuff, stuff.
That covers a whole lot of
Yeah,
areas.
that does. That does. Um, yeah, for those of you that I just let you know, Deb and I have talked about this subject for the last 2 weeks, but yeah, stuff, physical stuff, and yeah, uh, you know, the bottom line, he's teaching me that stuff isn't all that. It's not all that, and that contentment is more important. Being content with um not just minimal things, but just being being content. You know, it used to be I could not ride in the car and not have something going on the radio, whether it's talk radio or music or something. I could not do that. And lately it's become easier and easier just because it's like, hey, God, you
Mhm.
want to talk? Let's talk. And it's so exciting now because I can get in the car, I can turn the radio off, and I can just start driving, and all of a sudden my thoughts are going, I've missed my turns because we've been talking, and I know a lot of people don't get that. They don't understand that conversation, but it's like when you got it, you got it. I mean, when you know it, you know it. And I just little things like I'll be driving and then I'll see um a rainbow and I'm, oh God, that is so beautiful. Did you just put that there for me? Or or like I'll see a woman riding a lawnmower, one of those riding lawnmowers. Oh God, thank you so much that she's able to get out and do stuff like that.
Right.
Thank you for just little things, little tiny things. And I think I think that's one of the biggest things that God's been teaching me the last couple of weeks is that especially since my family came down 3 weeks ago, it's just been more of a um being okay with people and family and not having anything, just being present with my family and knowing that they're just willing to sit there. Yeah, okay, if I need something to eat, they'll go get me something to eat or whatever, but just sitting there or giving me a hug or just letting me cry or whatever it is. It's just like the stuff is just not important.
Right.
And and I and not necessarily that I think he wants me to give up everything, but prioritize. If this is coming in, this is becoming too important and I'm pushing people out or a relationship out, or I find myself not having time for so and so, then the things are second.
Right.
People are more important.
Right.
And yeah, that's tough. And I'm saying that even my own well-being is more important than stuff.
Right.
So if I'm preoccupied with cleaning or watching TV or anything, and I can't quiet my mind, then that there's something wrong. There's something off kilter.
Right.
And so I'm learning, even though I'm surrounded, I feel like a hoarder. I feel like I live in a hoarder's house. I mean, I know I'm not because I know the definition of
Right.
hoarding, but it's perception. I think I feel like a hoarder, but even in the midst of that, if I can pull myself away and look at it objectively and say, okay, Lord, you're still number one. All this other stuff is not important compared to you.
Right.
And I have been feeling so close to the Lord. A lot of people would, when a loved one passes away, they might like push everything out
Right.
and it's like get really self-focused and oh, I'm hurting so much. But because of what he's been teaching me about stuff and about relationships, it's like it's more good. It's more good right now because I'm able to see God. I'm able to experience what he's doing in other people's lives, and I'm able to sit down and read the word, and I feel whole. I don't feel like I'm missing
Right.
my mom or that relationship. In fact, I have more time now to spend with God. And so, in a way, it's really good.
And a lot of people would not understand that. Absolutely.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Because
Yeah.
it goes against everything we've ever been taught.
Yes, it does.
Because love equals missing somebody when they're gone.
Right. Right.
And
And, or, it's like, you must not have really loved your mom because you're not really mourning her death. And I'm like, I,
but
okay,
kind of been mourning her for a long
a
time.
long time. Yes.
For a
Yeah.
long
And, and, and I don't doubt 100% that God was in charge of even that
right.
he allowed her to start losing her brain years ago, not, not to hurt her, but to teach me,
Right.
and that's the funny, that's the nonsensical part to a lot of people, is that I believe God was teaching me even from the beginning of mom's sickness. I kept thinking, God, what are you trying? She doesn't know she's sick. She doesn't know she's got Alzheimer's, but I know. And so obviously you're trying to teach me something.
Right.
And I remember, and I'll just share this, and then we got to be done with this or I'm going to start crying. But I remember in her last hours, she was just breathing. That's all she was really doing, is just breathing. And she wasn't all there. In fact, her right eye, had always been glazed over. And you could tell her eye might be looking at you, but she wasn't seeing you.
Right.
And I remember the day before she passed away that I had to go home and get some sleep. I hadn't had sleep in about over 24 hours. I was dead tired, and I didn't want to leave her side because I knew she was going to die and I wanted to be there. Um and it's like, I don't want to go, but I got to go, one of those things. And I remember I looked at my mother, and she looked at me with that right eye, and it was clear. I knew she saw me.
Right.
And I don't know as if it was her that saw me or that Jesus was looking at me through her eye.
Right.
And when I told her I said, I love you. And she would always respond for years. She would say, I love you more. And I saw her because she was breathing and her jaw had already dropped, and she didn't really close her mouth. But I saw her breathing and she went,
Oh.
and I that's when I almost burst out crying. And I said, I know you love me more, don't you? and that eye looked straight at me, and it closed just briefly, and I knew that everything was going to be great.
What
I
a gift.
knew.
What
It
a
was
gift.
I know, right? I
Yes.
mean, it was such a gift. I mean, um and people ask me, "Well, why aren't you sad?" Well, why should I be? I know she left this earth loving me,
Right.
and I know I love her, and I'm going to see her one day again,
Right.
And I
Yeah.
said, so it's just a matter of like she moved away. She moved away.
Right.
And if I get lonely and I miss her, I'll call out to Jesus because he's the
Right.
one that's going to be taking care of me.
And when you get to see her, she'll be whole.
I know.
How
Yeah.
lovely is that?
Well, and a lot of people don't know this, but my mom has not been whole since she was about 4 years old. She fell down concrete steps and broke her back at the age of 4. And she had been in a body cast. She was in a body cast for about 10 years, 12 years.
Wow.
And she'd never been able to walk correctly. And it kind of looked like she had polio, but she'd never been able to run. So from the time she was 3.5, 4 years old, she never ran, she never jumped, she never skipped.
Oh my goodness.
And so now
Right.
picture that, she's
Right.
in heaven doing all those things. And so it's like, yay, yay,
Right.
mom. So yeah, that that is a gift that God has given me to
Right.
assure me that everything's going to be fine. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. That's lovely.
that's a wonderful gift, and that's a wonderful thing He's teaching me.
Yes.
And I don't want to stop learning that gift or learning
Right.
that lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, whew, I
I know.
got past that. Okay, so let's talk yarn.
Okay.
Shall we? Let's talk yarn. What are you working on? Are you work? Do you had time to work on anything?
I yes. So when this house sells, we're gonna get in our trailer and go. So
Okay.
how long we're gonna be in our trailer, I don't know. My husband knows he wants to head to Oklahoma. I said, please tell me that we can branch out from there.
Yeah.
There. But if this house closes anytime soon, we'll be in our trailer over Christmas.
Okay.
So I don't have my ends sewed in or anything, but I have been working on little
Those
snowflakes.
are beautiful. Hold on a minute. I'm gonna put you solo here, so
Okay,
you can hold it up so we can see.
just little, oop, where we are, little snowflakes to
Oh,
hang
that's
out of the
pretty.
windows.
Now, do you have a tutorial or a pattern you were using?
I just went online and looked up crochet snowflakes, free patterns.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Nice.
A lot of things.
Yeah.
And I started a hexi for Anna, my daughter.
Let me see. Do you have it with you?
I do. And I'm
Okay.
using the Ogo, is it Color Fusion? The one that,
I'm not familiar with Ogo. So,
let's see here. So let me see if I can get it. No, I got to get my corners together right so you get an idea of where I'm.
oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
it'll go to the, let me pull the yarn out so you can see where it'll be headed. So this is the armpit. So I wanted to do it darker on the outsides and work lighter towards her face. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay.
Lovely.
I like that yarn. Is it acrylic?
Yes. And it's got, can you see all the fuzz that's on it?
It kind of reminds me of latte cakes.
It's not that it does have the same sort of effect, but it's not quite so hairy,
It's
or
silky.
it's not as slick or
Mhm.
silky.
Okay.
It's got a little more tooth to it.
Okay.
But
Nice.
yeah. Yeah, I started this thing 3 different times. Just
Well, okay, so you've got the half of it done. Have you started the other half yet?
no, I'm actually not finished with this half completely.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
but it said to use like a J hook. I didn't love the J hook with this. I wanted the gaps to be a little bit smaller.
Okay.
I wanted it to be a little more structured and less loose.
So would you use an eye?
Yeah, I'm using an eye hook on this. So, yeah. Can I tell you something? It's
Yes.
I I bought a few of the Ami hooks off Amazon. Have you seen those?
No.
It's a resin hook that's a lot like the furls.
Okay.
It's got the same shape. They're wonderful. They're
Really?
$11,
Okay. Isn't
but
that funny? Well, remind me about my hooks. Go ahead.
my cat
But
chewed the top off.
what's that?
My cat chewed the top off my so.
Oh,
But then
hey,
I
at least
oh
it wasn't the price of a furl, right?
yeah, it's a $10. Of course, I'll replace that. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's too funny.
I tried a Furls resin hook. I did not like it at all.
Really?
Furls. I love my Furls Odyssey hooks, but I
Interesting.
do. After using this Ami hook, I went back to that Furls Odyssey, and it's like, mm, I think I like these hooks better.
Ah, well, it's kind of funny. Hooks are funny. I think we go through seasons
Right.
of hooks too. Because I know, I mean, I was sold on the Odyssey, and I still love my furls. But nowadays it's like I'm most of my crocheting is done on the go, and I don't like taking my furls
Right.
outside the house. So I started using I poo-poo mouthed I poo-poo mouthed Susan Bates hooks. And I found the ergonomic Susan Bates hooks. That's all I want to use.
Really?
I love them.
How funny is that?
That's all I use. I use that, and then I use the um Hobby Lobby hooks,
Uh huh. I
and
do love
that's
Clover too.
yeah.
Clover.
See, I the clover is too short for me. I don't like that it's ends too
Right.
close, and it hurts my hand. So I don't like the
I love
that's
an
okay.
hook.
Yeah. I
I thought
mean, I like the I like the way they crochet, but yeah.
I hear
But
you.
it's funny. I mean, I love him. I love hooks.
Right?
I'm a hooker.
Dude, I got myself a few collections going.
I
It's
know. It's it's addictive. It's addictive. But you know what? At least they don't take up a whole lot of space.
correct. They can look pretty in a jar on a table.
That's right. Or even like a display case.
Lucky I have a husband who can do just about anything. He can do just about anything.
Can
And
he did he make you did he make you a hook holder?
no, no, but I've learned to speak his language.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's the kind of guy who needs the right tool for the job.
Okay. Okay.
And so he understands my needs.
He understand. Okay. Yeah.
So that's nice because
Yeah.
a lot of people are like, why do you need 5 different kinds of hooks in the same size?
Well, now that you say that, you know, I could do that with my husband too.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I could say, you've got your collections. You've
yes,
got your collections, and yeah, I mean, okay, like your comic books. Do you just want one, or do you want like all of them? Like I would want all the sizes, but wait a second, you got different covers for some of them
Right.
because they release differently. So I need those same hooks in different colors.
And and it's not so much about a manipulation kind of thing. It's just he
Stands it.
understands that.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Which is
absolutely.
a lot of people don't get it.
No, they don't.
Because there are times where I will start a project and I will start with a furls hook because that's the one that's really comfy in my hand and it's not right. And you can feel,
Yeah.
so then you try something else and you're like, ooh, but
You
this
know what frustrates me though is that even though they say that it's the same size hook, I mean, that means that tip is the same. But if you pull your yarn up onto your hook at any point during your project,
right.
you can I mean, there's a big difference
Huge,
between a eye in a Susan Bates and
right.
an eye hook in a furls.
Correct. Huge. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that helped me in my crochet. When I started off, I was a very tight crocheter.
Oh, yeah. So those odysseys really helped you, didn't it?
And not just that, but I have arthritis in my hands. And
Mm.
so to hold a hook, let me get it this way, like this, and to be moving constantly, it hurt my hands so bad. And that furls hook took some time from, there's a learning curve to it.
Yes, there is.
And I've learned I don't move all I do is I rock the hook back and forth.
Yes.
And
Yes. You
it'll,
roll it. You roll it. Yeah.
it'll crochet a lot longer. But in order to roll it, you're moving up onto the shaft of that hook a lot farther,
Yes.
opens up those stitches in big ways. And it completely changed the way I crochet.
Yes. Yes.
So, because when you're a tight crocheter, it can really add some frustration to a project.
Well, it not only frustration, frogging frustration as
Yeah,
well, but frustration because you feel like you're cramping your hand and
right.
you're holding your hook tighter and it begins to hurt a lot more too.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I get it.
That was huge for me. And
I get it.
honestly, that's one reason I named my channel One More Whip. And I explained it when I first got on is that I work one project at a time. I always have because I struggled with tension for so long.
Oh, okay.
If I went from one project and once I was able to open it up a little bit and like I actually have two whips right now, but I'm working on a um a granny square cardigan for myself. It's just the one big granny square that you
And then
go,
you just put it together on the sleeves. Mhm.
and I'm doing that quite loosely because I want that open and floppy, but
Mhm.
and as I want it a little tighter. And so not I don't just change my hook, I can change my tension a little bit,
Mhm.
but for a long time I couldn't do that at all. And
Right.
going from one hook to another in a project, just I couldn't
Forget about it.
yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't I couldn't. And if I'm working one project, I get it's here and I don't have to think about it.
Muscle memory.
Yes. And to go to the other project and have it be different,
Mhm.
I'm frogging a whole lot more.
Yeah, yeah. Makes
Easier
sense.
thing at a time.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Well, I have been busy. I have I'm gonna tilt my camera here just a second. Okay. So I've been doing a little rearranging. Now, I have some projects here in my lap, so I don't have as much, but right there, this right there is it's finished. It just has to have ends woven in. And it's a little sweater vest that a little cardigan, crop cardigan that I made my coworker. Um and I've made two of those hexi cardies, and I just have to sew in the ends for these, and they are for gifts as well. Let's see here. Oh, let's see here. There's one. Let me solo. Hold on a minute.
Okay, I love the colors in that, Petra.
Yeah. This is going to be for it's actually inside out right now because I want this to be on the inside, but this is going to be for a coworker. She loves the blah color, she says. I
Me,
want I want the blah colors, but it's really cute. It's got lots of different shades of browns and reddish browns and tannish browns and chocolate browns. And
what is
it,
that yarn, Petra?
this is, oh, you would ask me.
Sorry.
No, it's crystal cakes. Crystal
Really?
cakes. Yeah. I had two, and this is two crystal cakes that I
I
took. I took a little less than one for each side. And then I made the same thing here. And this is another crystal cake, two of them.
That's gorgeous, Petra.
And this one is going to be for the same aunt I was telling you about. I made that other thing for, but
Is that
anyway.
sparkly?
It has a little bit of a sparkle in it. Yeah, this one does.
Oh, I love that.
It's so pretty. She's going to love it. She loves pinks and purples. I don't know if I'll give that one to her. I don't know. We'll see. I might keep it for myself. I don't know. I don't know. But then I also made this, and it is a wrap, and I cannot remember where I found the uh um pattern, because it's a pattern, not a tutorial. But it's a wrap, and what it is you can make it to be like a cowl. So they say you're supposed to like roll it over like a collar, and
I love the windows in that, by the way.
yeah, it has a nice little thing going on, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
then here you put buttons, and I have these little buttons I need to put on. 1 2 3 1 wait a minute 1 2 3, and so you can wear it, like as a poncho almost,
That is so pretty, Petra.
and then, but I'm looking at it now, and I'm even thinking somebody might, what they might do is, instead of using the buttons, they might put a real pretty brooch there, right?
Yeah.
That would be pretty. And then, but I'm just going to put the buttons on here. But I'm not, a lot of people, they were saying you can like sew this together so that it would be like this all the time. But I think I'm not going to do that, and I'm just going to leave it so that you can wear it different ways.
Right.
I mean, you can wear it like this, and then if you're going out and you don't want to have to worry about it, you can, oops, wrong way. Either way, I guess it doesn't make any difference, but you can bring it up like that, or you can, kind of do one of these things, right?
Yeah. I love the idea of
I
having.
love the idea. I do. I love that idea. And so those are projects that I've actually finished. I just haven't, like done the last minute details of it. And then I've got I started something, and I don't know really what I'm doing. I had the yarn, and I really wanted to use the yarn up. And I started this cowl, and I don't know if I'm in love with it. It's just using the granny square and in the round, and I'm using the wander yarn. Oh, There's my hook. Here's that hook I was saying. Oh,
Oh,
let me hold on. This is the Susan Bates ergonomic hook.
so that's longer than a regular Susan Bates hook, right?
I think so. I think it is.
Because
Yeah,
not all of us have little tiny hands.
I know. I don't have huge hands, but I like using it. Now, sometimes that join is a little bit off-putting,
Uh
but
huh.
I'll just bring it up to the where the thing is and just hold it right here.
I like my hook to come outside my hand.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
If it doesn't, then it keeps rubbing against there and it gets annoying.
right.
So, yeah, that's one of the things I was working on. I just don't know if I'm sold on it
What about
because
what are you not sure about?
I don't know if I just don't know if I should make it bigger, wider. I think I'll make it wider. That if I should leave enough yarn to make a hat to go with it, I'm thinking.
Right.
So, and then I had this Chloe yarn and I've been trying to find a pattern to this is the Chloe by Hobby Lobby
So
Yarn
pretty.
Bee. And I love the color. And I started to make I wanted to try the star stitch. I haven't tried the star stitch.
Mhm.
So this is the star stitch. And I really like it. Let me solo again. Hold on. But I noticed that here's the beginning. I had 17 stars down here, but now I only have 16 and it's all
Oh.
cattywampus.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't like that look. And so I'm thinking I don't but frogging this is already a bear.
Right.
um
But that
and
color is beautiful.
not only that, but let me just say it's soft to touch like this and to work with.
Mm-hmm.
But I have something that is made out of Chloe yarn and it gets scratchy. Not scratchy, but irritating.
Right.
Like you've got, you
Yeah.
know, it because it's got that wool in it and it's not is it 50-50? No, I can't remember if it's 50-50. Um let's see here. Oh, I don't even have the tag. Um let's see here. I need your readers.
Every time you show something on and I'm looking.
I'm okay, it's got 75 wool and 70 wool and 30 viscose.
That's a
Now,
lot of work.
that's a lot of wool, and that's probably more than I would want in a cowl.
Right.
So I'm thinking I'm gonna frog it, even though this takes a long time. That star stitch, it might be pretty, but man, is it a bear.
Does it take a lot of yarn?
Yeah, yeah, it does.
But
I
it's
mean,
like
it is such a beautiful pattern, but I don't know how to make it softer. If I should find an acrylic to go with it, or a cotton, or something to go with it, and use a bigger hook. I don't know. And then I still don't know. Look, that just doesn't look right. That I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did here at the edge. But so I'm still trying to play around with that. Yeah. So that's all I've been working on.
that's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. And plus, on top of that, I've really been working on trying to get my work on my diamond paintings and I've been working on a fall one. And I'm thinking, by the time I get this done, it's going to be January because it's taking so
Right.
long. So I'm thinking I might put it up and then get my Christmas one out and work on the
Oh,
Christmas one. Yeah. Uh,
did you your Christmas gifts that you were going to do?
I most of them like like that cardigan, and then there's another one. Where did I put it? Yeah, the one I still have to sew in the ends. That's two. I finished one of the diamond paintings I had for my boss. I did not finish the one I was doing from another coworker, and I'm thinking I don't know if I want to do that after all,
Got
because it's just a pain in the neck. I thought diamond painting would take less time than
right,
crochet.
right,
Not so.
right.
So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Um, I mean, I can crochet up another one of those hexicardis in a week, for her if I want to. I don't know. We'll see. And then I have another whip down here that needs to be done for another coworker. And for the other young man that I have, I was going to do a blanket with these.
With the squares, right?
Yes. And I said, no.
No.
No, thank you. I'm going to go through my collection of fountain pens.
Oh,
He likes fountain pens. So I think I'm going to go through my fountain pens, find one that I'd be willing to give up, which is not going to be easy.
right.
You know what? I've got them right here. Would you like to see them?
Two. I'm gonna
Okay.
put on my glasses so I can actually see them.
Yeah. Okay. So
I'm
now
sorry.
there's a couple here. I'll put this one in here so you can see that one too. Okay, I'm gonna solo here.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I have there's two another one or two of these right here. They're called Metropolitan Pilot Metropolitans, and they come in great colors. And then these are called Lamy Safaris. These with the backwards here. These are all Lamy Safaris. And this blue one, a friend of mine bought me while we were in Venice, and it's a Venetian glass.
That's
This one right here. Isn't that pretty?
Petra. What is it you love about fountain pens?
Um, it's an expression of me. It's just like finding something that puts things from here to here,
Right.
and just being able to write it in a very fancy way that
Mm-hmm.
is very mindful. Oh, here's the other side. Now my most expensive one is not in here. I have a very expensive one that is um that I take with me. I love it. It's blue and purple. Go figure. But anyway, yeah, I thought maybe I'd go through those and see if I could find one that maybe he would like, and maybe get him some ink.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned with the fountain pens, it's about taking what's here and putting it here. Is it the same with crochet for you through the hook, or is it a different
I-
experience?
it's different. It's a little bit different because um to me this is an experience where this is an end product.
Got it.
Um it to me, writing with a fountain pen is not so much like um it looks pretty on paper. I mean, even though it is, it's more about I would much rather pick up a beautiful fountain pen and write my thoughts than a regular ballpoint pen. To me, it has more meaning. I'm more mindful about what I'm writing down.
Right. I totally get that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's because I homeschool my younger two.
Oh, okay.
They do not they do not love the cursive. They do not.
Oh,
But it engages a different part of your brain
yes, it does.
and skill. Um, so they kind of grumble about that.
Maybe. Okay, here's a thought. Try calligraphy.
Hmm.
Get a calligraphy. I mean, you could start with real cheap. You can buy markers that are calligraphy
Uh,
markers and get them a book with all the different fonts in it, like Old English font, and have them practice that. See, and all of that is cursive, but they don't know it.
right.
It's just pretty,
Right.
you know, and then they could start adding their little flourishes onto it, and you could even make it like a game to them, like, okay, once you complete this, if you enjoy the process, I'll
Right.
let you pick out a fountain pen that has a thicker nib on it, and then you could use a fountain pen with real ink.
Right. I love
And
cursive. I because you
me
can
too.
there's it's all very specific to the person.
Yeah.
You know what I
It is. It is.
love that
I
about it.
mean, I just going on a tangent. I bought a whole bunch of stuff just from China just because they were pretty pens.
Hmm.
But here are, look at these. Oops. Like, oh, solo. Hold on.
Oh, those are lovely.
See, they're so, now these are pretty to look at. Oh, upside down. They're pretty to look at, but they don't have the best nib.
Right.
They're not the best like writing experience.
Right.
But, to get started,
Right.
it's not a big deal. But then it's the whole idea. I mean, just like crochet,
Hmm.
you get into fountain pens and you'll have just as many opinions about the best way to use a
Right.
fountain pen, but there's some who go after just that, the look of it.
Hmm.
And some they don't care what the outside looks like, but they want a gold tip nib because
Right.
they write very smoothly. And then there are some who they like to be able to see all the
Right.
inner workings, and how it works and everything. And I mean, it's just, like I said, just as many opinions about fountain pens as it is
Right.
crochet hooks.
Right. So, so, do you journal too?
I used to journal a whole lot more. And I used to use the a journal with the fountain pen, and it was a nice experience, but I've gotten out of that. I used to write books, write stories,
Uh,
my journal, my novels, and I used to do that with a fountain pen and just it was so it to me is like a nice experience. And I would have like, okay, one ink color for this book and then one ink color for that book. But anyway,
I like
okay.
putting up paper. There's something about it.
Yeah, there
I
is.
I do not. This is
I
not.
don't know.
It's
I mean, it's fast and
yeah.
it does the job, but for me, my thoughts work better through my hand than typing.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay, let's go on. We did a lot of stuff there.
But you know what I
Now,
love about this, Petra? I
what's
don't
that?
know if I shared it in a video one time. My aunt Barbara. My aunt Barbara's so wonderful. She taught me a lot of what I do. Um, and
Did she teach you how to crochet?
no, she taught me how to quilt. She taught me how to do counted cross stitch. So she did teach me those things.
Mm-hmm.
And there was actually a lady from my church who helped me learn to crochet. But I,
Nice.
I can remember in our church growing up, they had a quilt room.
Yeah.
And my Aunt Barb took me when I was if I wasn't a teenager, I was really early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
I went and I sat around this quilt with the older ladies
Yeah.
and just sharing stories and um,
Life.
life. And
Yeah.
I don't know many people who get to have that experience anymore.
No. They just it's not done anymore.
It
I don't know.
reminds me of that. Just
Yeah.
it, and I just think it's lovely. I can't
Yeah.
remember Barb telling me before we went, she goes, when we're there, you have to look at Bessie's stitches. You have to look at her stitches. And she said during the Depression, she was younger, um, but she made $1 for every spool of thread she put into a quilt. Some of the wealthier people in town would pay her
So
to.
her stitches were little.
My Aunt Barb called them whispers in the fabric.
Oh, I love
She
that.
actually put a spool a day into quilts
Holy
and helped
smokes.
her family through the Depression. So to be able to sit across a quilt from a lady like that and learn some things from her and hear
Oh,
a story
I'm getting teary-eyed. That is so cool.
for a 20s, early 20s,
Yeah.
well, to have
But
that
you
kind
know
of
what, Deb,
lovely.
not everybody would appreciate that the way you did.
No, no. But I grew up. I grew up so blessed. It's not even funny. I grew up going into convalescent homes and spending time with people because
Yeah,
that was
we used to do that in church
yeah,
youth groups, right? I mean, we would go in and we would sing and we do
yeah.
stuff with them. Yeah.
Kids sit and talk and hold hands and you spend. My mother was really good about putting us into uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And still look at me, I'm like, but it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, right?
She was really good at that. Even
Yeah.
in our church, there was a home for mentally disabled people,
Right. Mhm.
and they came because they tried to make things as comfortable for them as possible.
Right.
Came in and there were probably 40 of them, and they had their own Sunday school class. On the fifth, on the anytime there was a fifth Sunday, our
Sunday.
would go in and we would sing and we would do skits and we would play with them and we would talk to. So that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
Just being, and you learn so much.
Yes.
And you
Yes, you
learn
do.
that people are lovely.
Mhm.
You bother to get to know them just a little bit,
Yeah.
whether if they're old or young or in a different circumstance in a different time of life.
Yeah.
There's always some way that you can connect with somebody.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
a way to do that. And so this
Mhm.
sort of reminds me of that, just sort of have
Yeah.
tangible connection,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
know, and I even though I've tried in the past to try to put together a um crochet or knit, you know, community, a small group of women to do that, you don't find willing participants or people who don't make it like a priority. And we don't realize that it's not so much the crochet or the
Right,
knitting, it's that time together, right?
right,
And so, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I always bring a project with me. When I go someplace, I I'm going to sit there and I'm going to crochet because first of all, if there's somebody there that doesn't know me, it begins a conversation,
right,
doesn't it? And but if it's family or close friends, it just gives them an opportunity to just talk and we could just talk and I'm just crocheting away and it's like you said that time
right.
it's it's good.
Yeah. And I think too that a lot of and people who are watching this absolutely get it,
Yeah.
but um there's something in me that loves to have something to do with my hands and my idle time.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
My grandmother always she never sat down unless there was something in her hands.
Right.
She
Right.
would not sit in front of the television and just sit there to watch TV. She would have something in her hands.
Right.
She was crocheting, she was darning, she was mending, she was doing something. And when you're raised with that, you it's a good thing. Some
Right.
people say, "Can't you just relax?" Well, this is relaxing. What are you talking about?
And not just that, but it's an outlet.
Yes, it is.
It's also a I don't have to have anything else going on around me to do it either. I'm
Right.
okay in the silence,
Yeah.
working something with my hands. And I think
Yeah.
we've kind of gotten away from being okay in the silence of things.
Yes. Aren't you? That's
It's
so true.
scary sometimes to people,
Yeah.
you know? And
Yes.
I, so my daughter, I've called her sis in my own videos. Her name's Anna. She's 12 and she crochets. And a lot of times you'll just see her with a little set of headphones on, sometimes not. But to see her, and when she does it, she's like
Zoned.
couch and just, and it just
Oh,
in my heart to see
yeah.
her growing up with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And to know that she has something to turn to.
Yes. And one thing too I shared in my videos is she doesn't one thing I haven't shared in my videos is she has some learning disabilities.
Mhm.
Reading is one of them. She really struggles with the reading. Um, which it's kind of odd because what she reads, she comprehends well. She's just reading at a lower level.
Okay.
So her comprehension is there. If you
Right.
to her, she gets it, she remembers it, she comprehends. It's a processing thing for her.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And so patterns, no.
Yeah.
She just wants to pick up a hook and create.
Awesome.
That I have told people over the years, I have done I've sang my whole life. I've been on our church worship team. I've done different things.
All right. What do you sing? Alto, soprano? Alto, I bet.
Yeah, I do. I'm really comfortable as a tenor too.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. But I've never been good at like improvising a thing. I want to know what I'm singing. I grew up mostly with a choir background, and
Mhm.
so that has its own little,
Yeah.
you don't
Nuance.
always heard above everybody else's, and it's got to be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Blending.
yeah.
Blending.
And so when I'm on my own, it's a little more uncomfortable.
Right.
But it's the same way with crochet. I tell people, I'm um, I'm really good. I'm a good copycat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So patterns, if I hear it, I'm good. Throw me into something I've never heard before.
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do here?
Well, you know what I call I say of us because I'm exactly the same way. I say I'm not a creator, I'm a maker.
Yes, that's
I
me.
I can't put something out of nothing, but I can make stuff. If you show me, I can do it.
Now,
But
do that even. I need a pattern.
yeah.
I need it. I need to read it. And so, like, people who can just make stuff up blows my mind.
Yeah.
Even when people go, well, I tweaked it here and I tweaked it there. I don't
Tweak.
do that.
Oh, so you don't like hearing when I do when I talk about my patterns then.
Petra, to hear you go, I'm not a creator, I'm a maker. And I'm like, but wait, you are. You are. Because you're changing it up. You're,
Oh, well,
you know? And so to see people who just bust out this pattern and that, it amazes.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
amazes.
Yeah.
Some of us aren't built.
Well, I'm not really built like that either, but you know what it is I think is like I'll take something that somebody's done and it don't work for me. So that's where I change it to make it work for me, you
Gotcha.
know?
And maybe I'm following patterns so long that I'm not comfortable doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. Could
Maybe.
be. Maybe. We'll have to stretch you out. We'll help
Petra,
you. Hey, we're going to help you grow. Oh my gosh. Okay. We're gonna jump into the next section here before we get in trouble. Okay, so in the future, we would like to have there's two segments that we'd like to do in the future. One is answering questions that you, the viewers, are asking. So if you have any questions, put them in the comment section. The other one is any kind of feedback. So if you have anything you want to say, comments that you want to make concerning anything that we've been talking about, saying, yay, me too, I'm like just like that, let us know, because we might just call you out, give you a big shout out. But and because we don't have, this is our first one, as far as questions go, I think Deb has a question for me.
I do.
Okay.
So what exactly? So you listen to me. So you have, Grace, Gab, and Yarn.
Uh-huh.
So I don't even know how to say this. What is it about the Grace, Gab, and Yarn that means so much to you personally? Are they connected at all? And in what way?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because I mean, Grace is the overarching, umbrella of everything that I want to build, not just my community, but my life under is Grace. And my I want to say it's my God-given gift of Gab, but
Yes, let's call it.
yeah, it's a gift of Gab. But because you and I both know not everybody is an extrovert.
Right.
I am an extrovert. I mean, I have to have this in order to just feel normal.
Right.
And as far as the yarn goes, is what I like to gab about. So, but this whole concept of this particular podcast is, it means something to me because I want to connect. I want to connect with people, and I want people to understand that you don't have to be sitting next to somebody in real time, in real life. You have friends across the globe.
Right.
And that is one of the biggest blessings of YouTube, as far as I'm concerned, because I've got you in California, and I've got somebody in Africa. I've got friends in Africa. I've got friends in Europe. I've got friends in, oh goodness, all parts of the United States, Canada, Mexico. I mean, I've got them all over because of this channel. Right. And to be able to bring everybody together that is interested in anything that we have to say is like, right. I just mind blowing.
Right.
That's mind blowing.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you like to have? So like crochet for you specifically, since we're on like a crochet channel, kind of.
Yeah, right.
What about crochet for you that just does something for you? Does it do something for your heart at all, or your mind?
Um, that is a great question. Um,
Because you
I
mentioned,
think it okay. I think here's the thing: is I began crocheting on the channel because I wanted it to be an outlet, and I started crocheting really heavily in the last several years because when I would go visit mom, um, I would at her house. This was after dad passed away. I would I would be on the computer or writing in my notebook my stories. And I just felt like I can't do that because I can't be present and talking with her.
right,
So then I started shaking up crochet. And it became something that I just did. I sat there at the table and I would crochet while she's eating or whatever, and we just talk. And it's crochet to me is a mindless thing, but it's more about, like you were talking about, growing. To me, I I want it, and what I'm trying to accomplish now is to like stretch myself to the point where I feel more confident in what I'm doing in order to write patterns, to make wearables, to teach people how to make wearables, and um and that I, I need to know up here all of the stuff
right,
before I do. And so that's the crochet part. It used to be a stress reliever for me, but it's not so much a stress reliever anymore. To me, that's diamond painting is stress relieving for me.
right.
But crochet, I'm looking around my room now, and I've made so many wearable things, jackets, sweaters, um uh you know tops and stuff like that, that I'm like, that's the kind of life I want. I mean, I want that kind where crochet. I don't want granny squares covering every inch of my house, but I want people to know when they come into my home that I crochet, and I'm proud of the things that I make because it's a God-given gift.
Right.
And that's how I view it. Now I know a lot of people, they don't feel gifted. They feel like they got to take up a crochet course, or they got to learn from somebody and somebody's teaching them how. I honestly believe it is a gift that God's given me because to be I shared a story with you earlier. One of my very first things I did, I mean, grandma showed me how to make granny squares, and that was the, and I did them, but I didn't really like doing them. Even then, I didn't, and I still don't. Granny squares not my thing, but um, I remember somehow I got a hold of a ball of thread, crochet thread, and a steel hook. And I think my grandmother gave them to me. And I mean, I would sit down and I would crochet hats with that thread. And no one taught me how to do it. No one taught me how to do increases. I just figured it out for myself. Like, okay, this has got to get bigger. How do I make this bigger?
Right.
Little things like that. So, and since I knew how to do the granny square, I knew how to make, the circle, and I just kind of took it from there. And to me, that's a gift. That's not something that, you know, you just pick up and do. I mean, either it's a gift or you learn it, one of
Right.
the two. And I basically taught myself. And I just feel, like we were talking earlier about tweaking things,
Right.
to make it your own. Um, that's not. I make it my own because I know what I'm comfortable doing. And like if somebody is doing a very basic thing and I'm like, yeah, look, but it looks a little basic and boring. I can,
Right.
you know, zhuzh it up a little bit, you know. And so it to me, it's more of a mind thing. It's not so much anymore a stress reliever. I
Gotcha.
have to really be thoughtful in it.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I totally get what you're saying about the gift thing, because that's my Anna. She she worked forever on getting that tension right. Took her a
Yeah.
little while. But then I taught her how to single crochet, and she was doing that for a while, and I said, "Do you want me to teach you anything else?" And she goes, "No, I'll figure it out."
Yeah. Can
And
I tell you, I never learned how to chain. I
really,
mean, no one ever taught me, no one ever said, okay, you got to chain 5 or chain 60 or anything. No one ever taught me that.
and I just taught her how to chain. I didn't tell she does not want to work on a pattern of any
Yeah.
kind.
Yeah.
I want to share a little something here.
Okay.
Went to an IEP meeting for her.
Okay.
If nobody has ever done an IEP meeting, it's with special ed. So they had the special education teacher there, her teacher. I homeschool, but I do it through a charter so that there was a little bit of accountability there.
Yeah.
The principal was there, and both her resource teacher and the principal are math people. The math, she was a math teacher, he's a math teacher, they know it. And whenever we start an IEP meeting, the first question they ask are, what are Anna's strengths? And when they asked me that, I said, can I show you? And I pulled out the outfit she had made for her doll.
Oh.
This outfit, she had seen one of Pamela's.
Yeah. Her doll clothes. Okay.
And so Anna ended up making like this little halter top, and it was like a little pair of boy shorts with a ruffle that looked like a
Yeah.
ballerina.
Uh-huh. Like a
And,
tutu. Mm-hmm.
and this math teacher, he goes, "Can I see that?" And he took it in his hands, and he's like looking at this thing, and he goes, "Did she crochet this all in one piece?" And she did. I've never seen, usually if there's legs, you do one leg separate than the other, you know. There, she even built in a crotch and worked out. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did it. And he looked at me, and he looked at
Wow.
me, and he goes, the spatial math that's required for something like,
Yes.
and
Yes.
the processing, he goes, Mom, if she can make accommodations for herself like this, your girl's gonna.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just, thank you,
How
thank
was she? How was she in music?
you. She loves to sing, but
Yeah.
she's not interested at all in learning how to sing on key.
That's funny.
Because Jesus hears the heart, he doesn't hear the
That's
voice.
right. That's right.
He does
That's
not
right. That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
sing, and it will be off key, but it's with a happy heart.
Yes,
some,
definitely.
some people are absolutely gifted there.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's a gift.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I know that some work really, really hard to get where they're at. You know, some are as far as in crochet and God bless them, you know. Then there are some that struggle with certain aspects of it,
Right.
you know, whether they have dyslexia and they are trying to, you know, work through that into, you know, translate it into
Right.
their hook and yarn. And so, yeah, it takes all kinds, doesn't it?
It does. Let
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
the charts, I see it, and it's like, can I have the words, please?
Yeah.
I need the words.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's everything.
Yeah.
I read to learn. That's
Yeah.
how I learn.
That's
So,
definitely a visual thing. You're a visual learner. Yeah,
right.
definitely. Okay, so that wasn't the question that you were supposed to ask me, though.
What was I supposed to ask you, Petra?
This.
Petra.
Okay. So, Deb shared with me earlier that she can't do a hat. And so I said, I'm not a hat person. You guys know I don't do hats. I don't like doing hats. I've made them. I don't like doing them. Um, hey, they're great for using up scraps, but I don't like doing hats. And Deb shared with me she had a hard time trying to size them and she just
So
didn't
hard.
know what to do. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this. Okay, so I want you to chain however many you want, however tall you want your brim. Okay. I usually do 8, 9, somewhere around 7, 8, 9, just depending on how big you want it.
I'm loving
Okay.
the specifics here, Petra.
Well, you got to measure your own head.
Oh,
Okay, how many did I use here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I used 9. Okay, so you're going to chain 10.
okay.
Chain 10. Okay, and then single crochet in the second chain from the hook all the way across.
Both loops? Back loop, front loop?
You can do back loop,
Okay.
or just one loop. It really doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
Then you're going to chain 1, turn, and from here on out, this is what you're going to do. Chain 1 in the first single crochet, and you're going to back loop only all the way across, chain 1, single crochet, and then chain. So you're going to have a regular single crochet on each end,
Okay.
but back loop only in between.
Got it.
Okay. And you're going to just do that as long as you want. And here's what you're going to do. You got something this big and you're going to go around your head. Oh, it only goes to here. I got to do some more.
Okay.
You just keep going until you're able to get it to touch. And I would add one more row.
Okay.
Okay. Then you're going to add one more row, and now you've got it. You're going to turn it, bring the ends together. And my favorite way to connect it is going to be to slip stitch.
Okay.
All the, slip stitches together. Then you're going to have this ring. You're going to have the ring. That's going to be the brim that goes on your head. And because you're single crocheted this is one, one row is one single crochet.
Right.
So when you turn it, you got it like this, and you've got your I'm going to pull something here. Okay. Oh, I wish I had something here that I can show it to you. What you're going to do is you're going to chain 1 up, and you're going to single crochet in each stitch, each row, the top of each row all the way across.
Okay.
Now you got your base. You pick a stitch, any stitch you want. If you like single crochet, if you like double crochet, half double crochet, whatever stitch you like.
That's a whole lot of options there.
Well, what's your favorite stitch to do?
I like a half double.
That's my favorite too. Okay, so what you're going to do, you've got your first stitch, you're going to chain up 1, half double crochet in each single crochet around.
Okay.
Chain up 1 after you attach it, chain up 1 and keep going around and around until you get about that much.
Okay.
Okay, just kind of eyeball it, but it'll be from here to the crown of your head.
Got it.
Now, the easiest way to do this and it's easy. Just do a couple more rounds and it'll look like, wow, that's huge. But then you're going to fasten off, cut it, weave it through all, I mean, it'll be big. It'll be like this big around,
Uh-huh.
but you're going to weave in and out, draw it up tight. So now it's cinched and secure it with a couple of knots.
So I don't have to
Turn
do
it,
any pieces or anything.
turn it inside out, pop it on your head.
Okay.
Bam.
I
Now
can.
here's how you can change it up, okay? You can change it up by every time you do a round, connect, chain up one, turn, and go back around the other way.
Okay.
Chain up, turn, go around the other way. It'll have a different look to it.
Okay.
If you want to do back loop only, you can do back loop only. It'll create a ridge stitch.
Gotcha.
There's 3 different hats right there.
Okay. I can do that.
Yeah,
Do
it's
that.
not hard.
Okay.
And as far as decreasing, you don't have to decrease. You don't
Okay.
have to decrease. That's something you can do later on.
Any
Once,
any hat I've ever tried, you start at the crown and work down.
yeah. But
So
this will work. This will work great. And okay, let's just say, oh man, it's way too long. It's like this long. It's a slouchy.
right.
Put a pom pom on it. It's a slouchy hat.
Yay. Okay. I can do that.
That to me is easier because you're not having to figure out, okay, well, how far down do increasing and all that. You just start with this part, start with the brim, and
Yeah.
then work your way up, cinch it, one and done. It's easy enough.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, my challenge to you, Miss Deb, for this week, let's see if you can make one.
Okay. I can do that.
It's really a one ball of yarn is all you really need. So, and if you
Okay.
use like Red Heart Super Saver, you could probably get 2 out of that. I mean, just
Okay.
have fun.
I can do
It'll
that.
be fun. It'll be fun. Yeah.
And
And see, here's the thing. Once you get 1 or 2 of those hats done,
mhm,
change up the yarn. Instead of using a number 4 weight, use a 6 weight.
gotcha.
And maybe you're only going to do 4 or 5 things, and go around.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll teach you another stitch to do.
So me asking you that question instead of the question I was supposed to ask you, I, when that happens between me and a friend that I have here,
Yeah.
do you remember Wonder Woman from the 70s?
Uh-huh.
Whenever that happens, we look at each other and go, ching, ching, ching. Stuff bouncing off the.
Yeah. That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
That's what
I,
that.
lo- I
Okay.
love it.
I'm supposed to ask something that's going to have you challenging me. Ching, ching, ching.
Yeah. Okay, now it's your turn. What do you want to challenge me to do?
Petra.
It
Hmm. Oh, goodness.
doesn't have to be crochet. It could be
You know what I would love?
what?
I would love to see your writing with one of your pens.
Okay.
Even if it's just something you've already written.
Okay.
I would love for you to, I would love to see that.
I would love to do that. That would be amazing.
Writing is just beautiful to me. I used
Yeah.
to love getting my handwritten letters from my granny.
Yeah.
They're just, I
And I
love,
tell you what, it to me and I think a lot of experts in penmanship and things like that, they will tell you that if you use a fountain pen to write, your handwriting will get better.
I bet. I bet.
because there's more thought put into it.
Right.
Mhm.
I remember my mom having a fountain pen when I was younger.
Mm.
Being a kid, it's like when your mom's got something that you're not supposed to be using,
Oh, yeah, right?
draw there, and it's like that thing must be extra special if I can't use it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember asking, well, why can't I use it?
Mhm.
And so for her to give that explanation of it learns from you, you know what, it learns
Yeah.
with the pressure and the
Yes.
flow, and if somebody else uses that thing, it won't be the same.
Absolutely, and I'll pull, you know what? Because I only have a couple of them inked up right now,
Hmm.
I will pull out one that I haven't used in a while,
Nice.
and I will work on that.
Nice. I would love to see that.
Okay. Yay! Okay, everybody, can you I mean, it feels like the time just flew by, but it's been an hour and a half.
That's the bad part of this.
That's the gab part, absolutely. Well, guys, if you stuck with us to the very end, thank you. And, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I mean, we had a blast. Now, again, I don't know how often we're gonna be able to do this. It's just gonna be working around our schedules. It might be the only time that we're able to show any of our crochet stuff, and if that's the case, that'll be it, that'll be fine.
For being part of the circle today.
Yes,
I,
absolutely.
our pastor has said for years that rows are good, but circles are better.
Better, yeah,
Circles are better, you
yeah.
know, and
I
there's,
used to go to a church where, you had the pulpit, and there was a small stage. I mean, it wasn't like huge, just a small stage, and you had chairs this way and this way.
oh, wow.
So you could see,
Yeah.
you could see the people on the other side, and I mean, it was really cool.
That's
I really liked that, but it was uncomfortable for the praise team or the pastor, because you'd have
right.
to like constantly turn and
Yeah.
see the backside and
Spinning in circles up there.
get tangled up in the
Yeah.
mics and everything. Hey, a new dance routine.
Right.
No, no. Wrong church.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. This is lovely.
I know. I've had a blast. I had
Hey,
a blast.
we've been sending messages back and forth, but there's something very special about this.
Yes. Yes, there is. Yes, there is. We had for those of you that are still with us, there was a glitch, and I had to actually go out, and I was out, and my husband said, Mr. Happy said, "Boy, you're having a lot of fun back there." I said, "Yes, I am."
Yeah. It's been lovely.
It has been. I
Yeah.
I cannot wait. Now, I'm not sure what day we're gonna post this, but you'll see it. We're filming on Sunday, and that might be our only either Sunday or Monday, depending on what days work for both of us, is the day that we're gonna be posting, and who knows what's going to come out of our mouths next time, but it's all going to be good,
Yeah.
filled with grace, right? Filled with grace
And Gab
and gab
and yarn.
and
Yeah.
yarn and yarn. Okay, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Deb, if you want to hang out for just a second and I'll sign off. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.